Hey, this is James, fitness and sports instructor with PSP Kingston with another workout of the day series. So just a quick reminder before we get started, if you think you might get injured during this or any of the other sessions, just make sure you get it checked out with a medical professional, make sure it's nothing too serious. And if you are a CAF member, just make sure you fill out ACF 98. So getting into today's session, this is another piece in our body weight series. So today's we're gonna do an AMRAP style workout, but it's gonna be chunked up. So we're gonna do 3 8-minute AMRAPs, as many rounds as possible. So breaking that down, we're gonna have 3 different AMRAPs. So each one's gonna have a different movement series, but one's gonna be repeated. So our first 8-minute AMRAP is gonna be a couplet. So it's gonna be 2 exercises. So we're gonna alternate back and forth between air squat for 25 reps, and we're gonna do butterfly sit-up, our midline exercise, for 10 reps. So again, alternating just between those 2 exercises, trying to get as many rounds in as you can just of those 2 in that 8-minute time frame. After the 8 minutes is up, we're gonna take a 3-minute rest, and then we're gonna hit our second 8-minute AMRAP. Again, another couplet, just 2 exercises. We're gonna do push-ups for 15 reps, and in the second exercise, again, we're gonna go back to butterfly sit-up for 10 reps. Nice simple midline exercise. Again, alternating back and forth for that 10 minutes, as many rounds as you can. Breaking at that 8-minute mark, another 3-minute rest, and then our last 8-minute AMRAP series, again, another couplet, the 2 movements. We're gonna have pull-ups or chin-ups for 5 reps, with a substitute for the pull-up or chin-up of a single arm row for 5 reps per side. And again, midline, butterfly sit-up is your secondary exercise. Those 2 exercises alternate back and forth as many rounds as you can in that 8-minute series. So it's those 3 8-minute work blocks with those 2 exercises. So the key thing on this one, 8 minutes is a pretty short work block, so you shouldn't have to rest, pause too much. You really want to just transition back and forth between those 2 exercises, watching your clock, trying to get as many rounds in as you can. Use that rest period between each one of those 8-minute blocks to take that recovery time. So when you're in that 8-minute block, try and minimize pauses, water breaks, stuff like that. Just work, get as many rounds in as you can. So we're gonna go through some quick movement demonstrations of all of our little movements here. So we're gonna break down those 3 different ones, and then we'll go through the midline. So our first exercise, air squats. So just a quick little demo of the air squats. Hands behind the head, prisoner position for a little bit of extra midline. From the side. So with the air squat, feet should be roughly hip or shoulder distance apart. Feet can be straight or splayed out. So find your foot position, kind of play around with that, find what's comfortable for you. Keep that spine nice, long, and straight. Focus on driving off the midpoint portion of your foot. Focus on using the quadricep, the front part of your leg when you're squatting. The midpoint of that foot is gonna help with that. And then also, you want to unlock the hips, but don't push too far back that you get pushed forward. You want to try and stay fairly upright, chest up, so kind of focus on squatting the hips down rather than too far back. So quick little demo there on the air squat. Second exercise we'll do a quick demo on, upper body, is our push-up. So we'll start with a standard push-up. And then just quickly, we'll just do the substitution. Hand elevated incline push-up. So just a couple provisions on the push-up. Hands for both versions should be roughly underneath the shoulders, maybe a little bit wider, a little bit closer. Kind of find what works for you. Try and keep those elbows tucked in a little bit. Don't let them splay out too far. Keep that midline nice and engaged. You want to move as one piece. You don't want to let the hips sag and move a different position, so the body should stay straight throughout. Try and get nice full range of motion, so try and get the chest right to the floor, nice full extension through the elbow at the top. So standard push-up, hand and feet on the ground. Again, if you need that scaling of the push-up movement, that's fine. The goal in this one is to stay moving, so if 15 reps to do for multiple rounds would be a challenge, I would suggest doing the hand elevated scaling position. So you can use a table, a bench, a chair, stairs, anything where your hands are elevated roughly like like a foot and a half, 2 feet off the ground to give you into that elevated position. It's gonna make it a little bit easier. That is a preferred scaling option to the knee push-up variation. It just makes the mechanics of the push-up a little bit closer to the standard push-up, and it's a little easier later on to jump into those standard push-ups as you progress. So we have a 2-parter here. So we're gonna do our upper body pulling demonstration. So the first one is pull-up or chin-up. I'm gonna demo the pull-up. Chin-up would just be an underhand grip, flipping the hands around. So again, that was our pull-up, chin-up, would just be flipping the grip. So either option is fine, whatever you prefer, whatever works best for your setup. With the pull-up, key thing is just make sure you're driving those elbows back and down rather than trying to just pull your chin to the bar. Helps a little bit with upper back engagement. Keep that midline engaged as well, just keep yourself from swinging too much. Feet could be straight or tucked in behind, either is fine as long as that midline stays nice and engaged. And again, just focusing on driving those elbow back, using that upper back musculature to bring you up. So with the pull-up or chin-up, again, we've got the 4-poster here. It's a good setup. You might not have that at home. That's fine. So if you want to do pull-up chin-up, you have the option. If you have a door frame chin-up bar, that's great. If you have like a kids play area where you can hook something up, that's awesome as well. I-beam door frame, just make sure it's nice and sturdy before you go jumping on there and doing too many reps. Make sure it's able to hold and make sure you got a good position. So if you don't have a pull-up or chin-up option, or pull-up or chin-ups are too challenging for you, that's fine, either or. Our substitute for this one, for the upper pulling, would be single arm row. So, sandbag, real easy to make at home. You just need a duffel bag or something of that sort, something that has a handle and you're able to throw some stuff in. A good option for weight would just be some children's play sand, as well as other options would be like rice flour, something like that, where you can add a bunch of it, throw it in, load it up. You want to make sure it's a challenging load, something that requires a little bit of a challenge to that. If you were going for a single set max, maybe like 10 or 15 per side. So with this one here, single arm row, split stance, leaning forward, you can pivot off that front foot, other arm straight out, and then you're just driving that hand up and back, pulling that elbow up. And then same thing on the other side. When you're dropping that chest, just make sure you're not rounding, keep that spine nice, tall, and long. And that's your single arm row. So again, the substitute if pull-ups or chin-ups are a little too challenging for you, or if you don't have that setup at home. Our last one, and this is the one that appears at the end of the couplet of all three, butterfly sit-up. Nice and simple, we'll just do a quick demo. So with that butterfly sit-up, we got feet together, knees bent. This just takes the hips out of the equation a little bit and helps to lock the feet down. And from this position, arms extended, it's just up, touch the feet, and then back down to the arms touch, extended overhead again. And that's just to create a little bit of a movement standard for counting our reps. Key thing on the butterfly sit-up is to try and focus on that midline engagement when you come up. Try and avoid using the hip flexors too much. That butterfly position will help a little bit with that, but also just try and mindfully focus on that midline engagement first. So that's all of our movement demos. Again, we've just got those 3 8-minute work blocks to run through with those couplets. For a detailed breakdown, just take a look below on the video section here in the description section. You'll see a full breakdown, as well as at the end, just a quick little link to find the general warm-up series that was posted before for an idea to warm up. And again, if you have any questions or concerns, let us know in the comments section here or any of the other pages, and we'll get back to you. And just make sure you follow all the social media channels. We have PSP Kingston Facebook, Instagram, as well as the PSP Kingston page on YouTube, where you're going to find all of the past workout of the day so you can browse through and find some other options. Give us a like and a follow on the social media, and best of luck with today's workout.
PSP Kingston, the health and wellness provider for the military community.